How do you develop wealth, and what is the difference between being wealthy and being rich? Is there a difference? There definitely is, and I'll explain all that and more. And what are we looking at? This is a cash flow quadrant. Don't worry, get into that as well. My name is Casey Cochran. I am the co-founder of Fit Food Fresh. We are Florida's highest rated meal plan company. I've got a couple other projects, but that's really our prize. That's our big, beautiful baby that we're very, very proud of. So Fit Food Fresh, as I said, Florida's highest rated meal plan company. We started it from nothing. And I love sharing my experience from not only that company, but all of our other businesses and just discussing and learning from others. So if that's something that you're into, like, subscribe, comment below. But without further ado, let's jump in to Mr. Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. Now, Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad, Poor Dad fame, that was a book that was very popular when I started my entrepreneurial path many moons ago, and everyone was just recommending it. Then Tim Ferriss, I think, was another one that had meteoric success with the entrepreneurs like that. Cashflow Quadrant is another book, and this is a visual of the principles that he discusses in there, and it's basically the difference between wealth and rich, and he goes into that. So I remember way back when the example between, what's the difference between rich and wealthy. Shaquille O'Neal is rich. The guy who pays him is wealthy. I would argue that's probably not such a great example anymore, because Shaquille O'Neal, I bet, is definitely wealthy. But the big difference at that time was Shaquille O'Neal, I don't know, it was 20 years ago. I don't remember how long ago this was, but he was playing back then, and the whole idea was he has to show up and perform and sell his time and put in practice and whatever. He has to put in work in order to get his check. So while he is making a lot of money, as soon as he stops putting his time in, that money stops. Whereas the guy who owns the team, he owns a basketball team, he owns, whatever businesses or other industries. I don't know what the example was at that time, but that guy is wealthy. If you own an NBA team, you're wealthy. So you're no longer having to show up. You're just spending money wisely, investing, and making board of directors decisions and stuff like that. So here's a visual representation of that. Let's go through the quadrants. Employee, self-explanatory. Show up, punch a clock, get a check. Duh. Specialist. Specialist is, I don't want to say like an employee. Specialist is on the same side as the employee, and the commonality is these both have to show up and work in order to get their check. Specialist, however, has a higher barrier of entry. A specialist might be someone who's got a degree, certification, a doctor, mechanic, carpentry. So if they have some kind of apprenticeship that they went through, any kind of barrier of entry of education or certification that differentiates you from someone else just walking in off the street and competing with you. So while these are more secure jobs and you are able to charge more for your time, and it seems like this is the goal for a lot of people, especially in developed worlds, this is the main thing you want to aspire to be. This still is not ever going to develop wealth. And I'll say that again, nobody on this side, employee or specialist, will ever be able to develop wealth exclusively in these squares. Now, think I'm wrong? Okay, I'll explain. Now, business owner and investor, this is the passive side. This is where you no longer have to show up to make money. So a lot of people are going to say, well, if I'm a doctor and I buy a bunch of houses, well, that's investing. Well, if I'm a doctor and I'm a lawyer and I get a bunch of stocks, that's investing. Okay, well, what if I, start a really successful law practice and I hire a bunch of attorneys under me and they have to show up and they have to do all the lawyering and all that kind of stuff? Well, that means you just started a business. So now you're a business owner. So as I said, not to offend anybody, but you, without getting into this side, getting on these squares, you're not going to become wealthy on this side. You can be rich, but you will not be wealthy. Oh, what if I'm working for a company and they give me a bunch of equity and they go public and they sell? Well, technically, you'd be like an investor with that equity, and that will make you rich, and it may make you wealthy depending on the company. But again, that would be investor kind of stuff, because you're getting it from equity, owning a piece of the business. It was given to you in exchange for your time, which is the best case scenario, but you guys get the point. You're going to say I'm wrong. I'm going to say I'm right. That's how this goes. Ask my fiance. So passive income, that's what we want. We want to be able to kick back, take up, laying on the beach, knitting, skydiving, traveling, whatever you want to do. This is where you can slip into a coma. You wake up and you've got checks waiting for you. This side, you've got bills and pissed off people waiting for you. This side, they might be pissed off too, because they might have been waiting for that will. You got so much money coming in, but they're happy to see you because you're a good person, right? Right. So business owner, employee, this is something that I like to tell my friends, and I like to explain to my employees as well. As long as you're still showing up and having to work for the business, and as long as it's dependent upon your time, you're still an employee. I'm in that situation. All of my businesses, all of our projects, I call them projects. They still don't feel like real businesses to me, because I grew up with this understanding. I grew up knowing that if I have to stay around and I have to be here, even if it's not daily, but if I have to be here regularly, and I do have to be here daily, I don't think I have to be. We got an awesome team, but it still needs Steven, my business partner, and I to be here making decisions, creating things, moving, pushing the business forward. So we're not business owners yet. While we do own the business, we're not business owners. We own a job at the business. We're still employees of our business. So that's a big differentiator. Now, yes, I don't have to show up at 9 and I don't have to leave at 5. I actually work more hours. Obviously I'm probably more than 60 hours. I was up till 4 a.m. last night. It's past 10 p.m. Tonight, and that's just how it is. But I love it, and I don't have to wake up early. So there's nights when I stay up till 4 a.m. working because I'm in a flow state. I have the advantage of kind of being a business owner in that I don't have to be here at 9. I've got my guys here. I've got a team here. I've leveraged their abilities to do the stuff that needs to happen in order for money to keep coming in. As we build ourselves out of the machine, and you'll hear me use that term in other videos, building yourself out of the machine is crucial. A lot of people, I've got the videos on starting a meal plan company like Fit Food Fresh. A lot of companies who get into this industry are started by people who are personal trainers, or they're chefs, or they're nutritionists. And a lot of times they're very much in the machine, especially when you're starting out in the business. You're part of the production, you're part of the sales, you're part of the customer service, an integral part. And it's very hard to, number one, have someone who's competent enough to take over for you, but then also be willing to give them basically give this person your baby and put your business in their hands. But it is crucial for you to grow the business and for you to ever get on this side of the cash flow quadrant. For it to be passive, you can't be the chef back there doing production. We've got a guy around the corner. He's a buddy of ours. He's got a meal plan company. We're trying to actually acquire him or merge with him or do production for him, because he's the chef and he's hitting this glass ceiling where he got up to like 70 people maxed out last year, and now he's down to like 20. The food's great and everything. It's just the customer service, the sales, and everything else requires too much, and he just can't oversee everything. And he's tried to hire other people to cook, and they're not consistent with him, and he can't manage them, and he can't make them cook it exactly how he wants to cook it. So he's having trouble letting go, obviously, but it's also keeping him from growing the company. It's actually caused him to regress. Personal trainers, a lot of the times, are getting into meal plans and other things because they know firsthand what it's like to have to sell their hour. They're a specialist. They've got that special certification. They're able to charge more for their hour than an employee, right? They're their own boss. You're making your own hours, within limitations. But what sucks is you can't just pick up and move. You can't travel the world and be a personal trainer unless you're, doing something on the internet. But that's not personal training anymore. Now you've developed a business. Okay, see where I'm still right? Yeah. So personal trainers know what that's like. That's why You might be a personal trainer looking to get into a meal plan company and start something because you've got your clients who need help. You want to feed friends and family, whatever the situation is. It's a no-brainer, easy to get enough people up. Sure, that's a great way to no longer sell your time, but be careful and don't get caught making the food or handling customer service or whatever it is. While that isn't important in the beginning, you don't want to get stuck there because you'll never get onto this side. Investor, self-explanatory. Investor is whether you're buying real estate, you're buying stocks, you're buying bonds, you're buying cars and flipping them. Like, I don't know, you're buying anything. You're using your money to make money. You are an investor. Business owners and investors, like I said, if you have to show up, you're not one of these. If you have to show up to get that check, if you have to show up to get the money, you're not one of these. If you have to put your time in, these guys have broken the relationship. They've severed the relationship of time and money. Now their time is no longer correlated to the money they make. And that is a beautiful place to be, but you have to have something to leverage. You have to have a business or an investment, and you can make it from here. You'll see some of these diagrams. They'll have arrows that go, E to S to B to I. That's bullshit. That's why I didn't put them up here. You can go from E to I. You can go from E to B to I. You can go from E to B and never go to I. Or, you can do whatever. You don't have to go to S. You don't have to be a specialist. Don't be concerned about the path you take. Just know that you want to get on this side. All right. That's all I got for you. I don't want to take up too much time. I think the book does an amazing job at explaining it, but I'd be happy to offer any further explanation if there's something that you want me to go into. Yeah, that's it. Please like, subscribe, comment, check out my other videos. There's a bunch of other stuff. Right now I'm focusing on getting some meal plan stuff out, helping people because I know that's a big need. There's a lot of people trying to start meal plan companies, and I know firsthand how hard it was, especially coming from outside the business. So if that's something you want to check out my other videos. I've also got a tour of our spot, our headquarters at Fit Food Fresh. We've got a cool spot. Definitely check out our office. I think it's a fun office. I dig it. I think you'll dig it. I hope you'll dig it. Our employees dig it. We've got an awesome kitchen with amazing food connected to it, major refrigeration and all sorts of stuff. So if you're interested in seeing what a commercial kitchen looks like, check out that video. But yeah, please like, subscribe, and comment because I just want to see what I can do as far as helping people and maybe make some friends, and maybe there's something I can learn from you as well. Thank you very much for your time. Have an amazing day, evening, week, weekend, whatever's going on your side. And I've got to figure out where the stop button is. And there it is.